Here we go then, Elland Road, ready and expectant lunchtime kickoff here on Matchday Live for Leeds United taking on Derby. This 12:30 kickoff, half an hour to go until the action gets underway. Leeds looking to bounce back after that defeat at Ewood Park. Derby 2 home defeats in a row coming into this, 1 win in 9, and promoted last season. Of course, they'll be looking to see if they can improve their form. This match is available in selected territories. Head to the LUTV website to get your match day pass today. Joining me, he loves an early kickoff. He loves getting up nice and early. Jermaine Beckford's in the studio with us today. Jermaine, it's Christmas. It's feeling a little bit Christmassy. We've got the snow in the background there. You can see on the screen. And before we came on air, Bex was giving us a beautiful rendition of a Christmas song, which we won't make your ears bleed with for now.
But are you sure? Because that was fun.
It was lovely, Bex. Everyone's getting a bit festive, and of course when it comes to the football, the festive period, the games come thick and fast, and here we are, lunchtime kickoff today against Derby. How much are you looking forward to it?
Oh, very much so. Especially taking into account what happened last night with the other two teams getting a point each, it's given us a great opportunity to leapfrog everybody and find ourselves in the top spot. That is what it's all about. If we're able to sit at the top of the tree, excuse the pun, before Christmas, during the Christmas period, sorry, everybody else is looking up and they're all trying to fight to get to where we are, whereas we're at the top of the tree, just, I wouldn't say relaxing, but I'd much rather be at the top looking down rather than at the bottom looking up.
Yeah, and of course Sheffield United play tomorrow. They're away at West Brom, so a tricky game for them. There is that opportunity for Leeds to just put that bit of pressure back on Sheffield United and say, well, we've done our bit now, now you go and do what you can do. Yeah,
and they've got a very tricky game as well, as you mentioned, West Brom, away to West Brom, and they're a very, very good side. So it's not going to be easy. It won't be easy for us tonight, this afternoon, to be honest. But at the same time, we're at home. We've got a great home record. I think we've only lost once all season at home. Coming off the back of a defeat as well to Blackburn, we normally bounce back really well. So I'm hoping, again, that's going to be the case.
Because of a sort of series of promotions and relegations for both teams, this is the first time the teams have met since July 2020, which is a strange thing in itself to say July, but of course it was that strange year with the pandemic. Leeds Derby just is one of those fixtures. I mean, going all the way back, into the 70s and beyond, that things just happen, don't they? And I mean, I wonder from a player's point of view, I wouldn't expect players for Leeds United now to know all the history of that, but they'll know when games are important for fans, won't they? When you're a player, you know these kind of things.
Yeah, you do. Look, when you're out and about in the city centre and the game's coming up, you'll have a conversation with the fans. Fans will come up to you and ask the question, you know for a fact this is a big game, don't you? Do you know why this is a big game? Make sure we don't make the same mistakes that we made the last time we played them. Make sure we batter them. Make sure we do everything simple. Make sure we get on top of them and give them no chances. The players will know. They will know 100%. And it's going to be an exciting one as well because Elland Road is a fortress. The fans are, look, that typical 12th man or woman. And we're just going to make it an intimidating atmosphere for this Derby team.
Yeah, if ever a team reminds you that you don't want to end up in the playoffs, it's Derby at Elland Road. But let's not even...
No, we're not doing that.
Let's not even think about that for a moment. In terms of Derby, they got promoted last season. Of course, difficult results come into this. They're very patchy. They picked up a few draws, but then they had those 2 defeats in a row at home. Sometimes for a team, when that's happening, you're quite like, actually, what, might not mind an away game today.
Yeah, but then when you look at their overall record in the last 13 games, they've only won twice. They've got 5 draws in that time as well. They concede a lot of goals. There's only been 2 games during that time where they've not scored a goal as well. So we know they're capable of scoring goals, but they're also vulnerable at the back. They like to give away possession to the opposition team, let the opposition team dominate possession, and try and hit them with more long balls up to the forwards or put the ball out wide, get lots of crosses in the box. That's the type of football that they like to play, whereas I think that will suit us down to the ground, give us an opportunity to get the ball down, moving the ball. This man here, Tanaka, gets on the ball, his creativity, his vision, his awareness, his distribution, that's going to be the key for me today. And as long as he's able to continually find space that he's been able to do since he came into this team, and get his distribution going really well out wide to the wide players or up top to Piroe, that's going to be vital for us.
Tell you what, there's some lovely wash bags on display today. Did you see Rothwell's wash bag there and Willie coming in? Lovely stuff.
They're not legit.
They got their Christmas gear early and ready to go. And there, of course, the manager, Daniel Farker, who gone with a short sleeve option today as well. I mean, it's nothing like it is in parts of the country, but it's a blustery out there today, which will play a part, I would have thought.
Yeah, it would. And that's another reason why I feel today's game will suit Leeds United, will suit us far more than it will suit Derby. As I mentioned before, Derby like to go quite direct, which means they like to put the ball in the air. And when the ball's in the air on a blistery day today, like today, you're not going to be able to read exactly where it's going to drop. Whereas when we're passing the ball on the floor, as long as we're doing it nice and quickly, putting the ball into specific areas where our wide players can get at their fullbacks, we're going to be more than fine as long as we do it quickly. And that's always been the case for me. When we move the ball quickly, no other team can get near us because of how dominant we are in possession and how well drilled the players have been by Daniel Farker.
Okay, there's one change today. That is Manor Solomon starts in place of Willie Nonto, who drops to the bench. And importantly as well, and we'll come on to this in just a moment, Ethan Ampadu, club captain, is back on the bench, which I don't think anyone was expecting quite so early, and we'll discuss that in just a moment. But before we do, let's get the thoughts of one of the players who's marking a bit of a landmark here at Leeds United today. Junior Firpo's in the starting 11, and today is appearance number 100 for Junior.
Well, Junior, back at Elland Road. Good to be back here.
Yeah, good to be back here. I've been missing out a few games here. I miss the crowd. I miss the feeling to be playing here at Elland Road. So yeah, just buzzing for today.
The aim is to get back winning again, isn't it? It was a disappointing defeat last weekend.
Yeah, it was a disappointing afternoon. I think we try our best, but sometimes, you know, the games are not going as we want to go. So I just think that we just need to get back on the winning ways, you know, and this is what we want to do today.
Well, the home form has been really good. Can you keep that going today?
Yeah, obviously it's the aim, you know, it's the aim. We know that having like winning games away from home is what will give us the chance to win the title, but obviously we wanted to make ourselves the strongest one at home. I think we are doing it at the moment, and we have to keep going like that.
Yeah, appearance number 100 for Junior Firpo today for Leeds United. Bex, it's quite a landmark for any player to get to you know, triple figures in games for a club, and Junior makes that today.
Yeah, it's amazing. Look, he had a tricky start to his Leeds United career. Let's not beat around the bush with that. But he's grown into the position, he's grown into the role, he's grown into the city and into the club as well. And we're starting to see, and we haven't seen it yet, we're starting to see the best of him, especially when he's going forwards, when we're in possession of the ball. He likes to get on the overlap, he likes to find passes into feet. And when he's away with the national team as well, we know he could score goals. We know he's got the assists in the bag as well. It's just a matter of him bringing that here, but also just improving ever so slightly on his defensive elements, the defensive elements of his game. Every now and then he does get caught out against a quicker, trickier opponent, and I think today will be one of those days where he's going to get tested. Mendes Lang is one of those players who I feel will want to test himself against Junior, and will fancy his chances as well. The old school player in me would say, I want Junior to just go through him first time, give him a dead leg, you know, apologise, maybe take a booking, but like wipe him out for the game. However, the game nowadays has evolved ever so slightly, and he might not get away with it the same way that we would have.
No, probably not. Probably not. So yeah, 100 appearances for Junior Firpo, and it's not often really that the team news is led in terms of the size of the team news by a player who's on the bench. But Ethan Ampadu, back 10 weeks out since that injury, which we all kind of assumed was going to be longer than that, maybe into the new year as well.
Yep.
Look, this is going to be a case of slowly reintroducing a player back into a team who's had a fairly serious injury. But how impressed, firstly, are you? I guess his attitude towards getting himself fit and ready as quickly as possible. But how impressed are you to see Ethan back out there on the grass with the players?
Oh, very impressed and very happy for the guy as well. I was at Thorpe Arch a week or two ago and had a good chat with him, and you could see the passion in his face and hear the passion in his voice and the determination when he was talking about doing the work, putting the work in, getting the work right as well, and not rushing his recovery. I know I say that, and you know, what was it? 10 weeks it's been since he's been out. That's amazing, but it doesn't surprise me. Now, I wouldn't expect to see him playing any real part of today's game or maybe even the next game. I think this is just a matter of getting him back around the place, getting him back on the pitch, back in the dugout as well. That's
good for the other players as well to see him there.
It is, of course, especially for Joe Rothwell and for Tanaka as well in the middle of the pitch, because that's where Ethan likes to play. So it will help to give them that added boost as well, but also the rest of the players, give them that reinforcement to know that if there is an injury to one of those two boys, which hopefully there isn't, we've got ready-made reinforcements to come in. That's the key, that's vital, and it just strengthens the team in another area that I feel we could have been a little bit light.
And just very quickly, as well on the Ethan thing, you know, you've a player that suffered with injuries at points and being out for a period of time. It must be really difficult for a player to see everything going on around you. 6 wins in a row here at Elland Road. Of course, you're delighted for that, but you're not in and amongst it, are you? How difficult is that, and how much of a feeling of relief is it when you finally get back out there and he's doing the warm-up right now in front of the fans?
It's important. It's really important, but more so is what goes on behind the scenes. So the conversation Ethan has with Daniel Farke, the conversations that he's having with the rest of the squad as well. The boys that are injured or not involved are still feeling like a part of it. Obviously, they're not physically getting involved and physically a part of it, but it's still important. The bigger picture is the most important element of the whole situation. So the bigger picture being promotion, the bigger picture being, can we win on Saturday? Can we win on Tuesday? Can we win on Wednesday? Can we win whenever the next game is? That's the most important thing. So the boys will be looking at it. Ethan Ampadu, we're looking at Gruev, whoever else is out injured. They'll be looking at it saying, right, I am injured now, but I'll be back in 2 weeks. I'll be back in 4 weeks. I'll be back in 8 weeks, whatever it may be. And then when I do come back, that's when I'm going to show my worth as well and give the team that added boost, that added energy that they haven't had.
Well, fantastic to see Leeds United club captain Ethan Ampadu back in and amongst the action today. All right, we're just over 15 minutes away from kick-off. Leeds United against Derby here in the Sky Bet Championship. Let's get the thoughts of our commentary team for the first time today. Bryn Law, who today is joined by former Leeds United manager, someone who knows how to get this club promoted, Simon Grayson.
A lot of games coming up. It's a squad game, so a little bit of rotation. No Dorigo for LUTV this afternoon. Simon Grayson steps in. He's up on the gantry instead. Don't be nervous, Simon, but looking forward to it, I'm sure. Important game for Leeds United this afternoon.
Yeah, it is. Trying to bounce back after the disappointing result last week at Blackburn. Previous 2 games, 2 good wins. Against the Derby team today that have not been in great form recently, but trying to get Elland Road rocking again, get back to winning ways, which will lead into a busy period that's going to be coming up.
The manager's taken the opportunity in the last few weeks to make small changes. The same again today?
Well, he's got the luxury, hasn't he, of having some really good players around to be able to chop and change it. One change today, you see Solomon coming back in for Notto, which when you then look at the bench, it's a real strong bench, isn't it? Ampadu, Joseph and a host of others. So he can always look to change at any particular time. So nice to have these players available and back around it for a busy period coming up.
And when somebody like Ethan Ampadu's on the bench, there's real pressure on those on the pitch, isn't there?
Well, it is. You're a player now, you're looking over your shoulder thinking, I need to up my game. And to be fair to Rothwell and Ampadu and Tanaka, they've been very good over the last few weeks while Ampadu's been out. So, everybody needs to raise the game if they want to stay in the team on a regular basis.
There's an expectation here at Elland Road always, you know that, you've sat in the dugout here, but particularly when it's a team in Derby County's position in the table. It doesn't always work like that though, does it?
No, it doesn't. Unfortunately, if it was played on paper, Leeds would be promoted a few years ago. But it's one of them games where Derby will come and sit deep, not on a great run, as I mentioned previously, that they'll want to try and hit us on the counter-attack, maybe use their strength of set pieces, and be hard to play against. Key part today is trying to get the first goal. I think over the last few weeks we've been very good in the first 15-20 minutes of games, got the goals that have allowed us to settle down and maybe bring the opposition out. So hopefully that's the case again today.
Looking forward to seeing whether Leeds United can bounce back after the disappointment at Blackburn.
Yeah, there you go. Squad rotation on the commentary team. Are you doing the ratings afterwards as well of the commentary team?
Of course.
Yeah, don't want to put any pressure on.
That's what I'm here for.
Don't want to put any pressure on Simon there. That is the important factor, isn't it? That Bryn just said at the end there. It's about bouncing back from the defeat, because the defeat against Blackburn, Leeds were on a bit of a roll going into that, and you think, right, well, we'll just go and roll them over as well. And we know the Sky Bet Championship doesn't work that way, but still, it was disappointing.
It was. Look, we dominated possession, and there were lots of really nice, intricate parts of that game that impressed me, I'll be brutally honest. However, the part that let me down, that let us down, was the finishing in the final third, and that seems to be the case when we go away from home. I think it happened against Millwall. There's been a couple of times where we've looked toothless. We've looked toothless in attack, and that's frustrating, and we're trying to find the perfect goal, and this is something we've discussed before. There's no such thing as a perfect goal, scoring a perfect goal. The only goal that matters is the one that crosses that white line. It doesn't even have to hit the back of the net. But you're not going to score if you don't shoot, and I feel like we didn't shoot as much as we should have done in those type of games. The good thing is Daniel Farke's had a week to prepare since the last game against Blackburn, so he would have looked at that and said, right, well, these are the areas we need to improve on. They would have watched the videos back, watched clips back, and said, I wasn't happy with this, I was happy with this, let's work on this and keep that part ticking over. And that's the element, that's the part that's seen us bounce back after a defeat, and go on a run of 3, 4, 5 games without loss.
It is strange how it happens sometimes, isn't it? You know, it's put 3 past Luton, 4 past Swansea the week before that, and then you go.
We did concede 3
well,
as well, which was
I'm
disappointing.
concentrating on the goals we scored rather than the ones we conceded in that one. But yeah, that was one heck of a game.
Yep.
And then you get a game like that, it just doesn't quite happen. I mean, there's a change today, one change in the team, which is that Solomon's coming in for Willie Nonto, and we've got this situation with 4, wide players who are all on good form, and sometimes it's clicked, and on that case it didn't click, and Manuel Solomon gets the nod today.
Yeah, he's been brilliant since he's come back from injury, and he's somebody that really, really excites me. I would love to play it up front with him on the wings as well, because you kind of know what he's going to do after a while of watching him. Now, he's so direct, he's so quick with the ball, he changes direction really, really quickly. He's got really good feet, so he keeps the ball really close to his body, and the low centre of gravity helps him to get away from the bigger opposing defenders. The delivery that he puts in as well, especially when he's playing on the left-hand side with his left foot, he likes to keep it nice and low and really put a zing on it, which is perfect for the forwards getting in front of the defenders. I think we saw Matteo Joseph get a goal in one of Solomon's early games, and we've just not expanded on that. But the good thing, again, what you mentioned is we got Ramazani on the bench, we got Nonto on the bench, we got Dan James starting, we got Solomon starting. Those are 4 incredible forward players with incredible blistering pace and really, really good delivery in terms of the shots or the crosses. So that's Daniel Farke will be looking at that thinking, right, all we need to do really is tighten up at the back, give these guys to an extent free rein to go and express themselves, to go and explore, get the rotation in there, get the defenders from the opposition team, whether it's Derby or whoever it may be, get them moving around, pull them out of positions and exploit them. Get Joel Piroe getting in and around the centre halves, getting in front of the goalkeeper, and just being a nuisance. We will obliterate teams, but we just need to make sure that when we do lose the ball, that we're in strong areas to squeeze up and put a high press on them.
Well, you mentioned the goal scoring, and Leeds United top scorer so far is Joel Piroe. 7 goals and 2 assists to his name in the Sky Bet Championship for this season. He's been chatting to us here at LUTV about his season so far, and also about how the team is looking to bounce back from defeat at Blackburn.
Joel, a frustrating result last time out. What do you take from that game in terms of what you can learn from it?
That we have to use our chances better, and that we need to put more into creating even more chances.
In terms of morale in the camp since then, how's it been the last few days in training?
We are spirited to take back what belongs to us, and we just want to go out there and win again.
In terms of your experiences this year, you've had a few setbacks every time you've bounced back. What would you say is the key to doing that in terms of getting that morale back up and just getting straight back on the horse, so to speak?
Well, it's also a little bit about knowing about the league. There will be setbacks along the road, and it's just important to bounce back every time. And the process is what we are doing is clear. We need to keep believing in each other, and we all need to step up in the moments when we have to.
You're an experienced player in this league. Does that give you so much confidence going forward, knowing that what's to come, how busy the fixture list is? What does that do for you personally?
Well, at first makes you prepare well for the busy period that's ahead as well. You've got to be smart, but we just have to make our lives easier. So no silly decisions on and off the pitch, and then we just got to work hard together, and we know we're going to have to use everyone. We just need to make sure that everyone knows what we're doing.
You mentioned there about being smart. How tough is it this period of year about in terms of last a couple of days of rest, your recovery? How is it for you as a player?
Well, of course it's a quick turnaround every time, so you got to rest when you have the chance, but at the same time you got to make sure that we all are on the same page, that the rhythm within the team is fine, and as well because the games come very fast, you can get rid of the thoughts of the last game and just carry on and see the next game what's ahead of you again.
You mentioned a few minutes ago about the utilising everybody within the squad. You've had a couple of roles this year, a 10, a 9. How have you found that as an experience?
I think it's not that much different, but at the same time it's a completely different role, leading the line or trying to be more creative, find the spaces within the setup, or exploring more in behind the centre backs. Well, it's sometimes tough, sometimes also not, because it feels like there are certain games more spaces at a different position, and I just want to be on the end of all the chances and the spaces that we have, so it's good to rotate sometimes.
You've got 7 goals this season already. These next few weeks, as you say, we'll have so many games before the new year. That must give you a lot of hope and belief that you can add to that, get into double figures and really push this team on.
Yes, definitely, and that's what I certainly want to do as well.
In terms of this next game coming up, a team that are salvaging, scrapping for every point, and different end of the table to yourselves, what are you expecting from Derby?
First and foremost, I think they will put up a big fight. I've seen they have a lot of experienced players as well who know how this league works as well. So I don't think that it will be an easy game, but we just have to believe in ourselves and play to the best we can.
A return to Elland Road, I'm sure, will help you out as well?
Yes, definitely. Elland Road has been a fortress, and we will show again that that's our home.
Joel Piroe there talking about his role so far this season for Leeds United. It was interesting, he said that one of the things he said right at the start is that there will be setbacks. That is the league. It's 46 games. You're going to lose some. You're not going to win them all. And Blackburn is one of those setbacks. And like you were saying earlier, it's about the ability to put that right in the next game. And Leeds have been very good at that so far this season. Whenever they've had one of those defeats, straight away, they've bounced back, they've got the points.
Yeah, because Daniel Farke's turned around and said to them, guys, look, improve here. This is what we need to get better at. Focus on this. And in training, that's what they've done. They focused on those areas that had let them down in the previous game. Maybe he's made it to a point where it's so boring, the players are like, I can't stand this, I don't want to do this again. So in a match, we'll make sure we do it right, do it properly. And it's worked. You mentioned the bounce back after the 2 losses, especially the Millwall game and the Burnley game, sorry. The reactions have been exactly what we've wanted to see from a fan's perspective. I want to see my team go out there and absolutely go for the jugular, especially with the attacking threat that we've got here. You've got Tanaka and Rothwell in the middle who are like reinforcements. I don't really know where else to take it. They're doing a really, really good job, but it's how they bounce back from those losses that's going to be key.
Interesting, he was talking about Daniel Farke quite a bit in his press conference about that number 10 role that Joel was talking about. They are very different roles, that 10 and the 9. And Daniel Farke saying actually when he looks around the squad, there are reinforcements. There's Tanaka, he was saying, is a player that could play further up the pitch. Rothwell could play further up the pitch. You've got Aronson in there as well. Yeah. That there are some options there for him that he can see. I mean, Junior Firpo for his internationally, he plays in that kind of more forward role for his country as well. So there are those options within the squad.
Yeah, there are, which is perfect because with Ethan Ampadu coming back as well, again, that's reinforcements in that holding centre midfield area, which will release one of those other players that you mentioned to go forwards. And with all due respect to Brendan Aronson, who is neat and tidy and he's got a little bit about him, he's just not got the physicality that I feel you need in those areas. So with one of those other players you mentioned, going into that 10 role, they've got the creativity and maybe they've got a bit more of the physicality that will benefit us in having a player playing in that position. This
match today against Derby, we know where they are in the league, we know the kind of form they're on, we know that they're, in terms of possession stats, right down there, lower in the league. Are they going to come? Is it going to be the low block? Is it an early goal that's going to be the key to getting this game going?
Look, you kind of expect them to be round about where they are based on where they came from. They got promoted as in second position last season, which well played to them. I'm not expecting them to bounce up the leagues and finish up in the playoff positions. It's interesting though,
isn't it? Because Ipswich have kind of changed that perception about amongst probably expectations. I would have thought that fans getting promoted from League One into Championship are probably thinking now, can we have a go and do it? But it's not realistic for all teams to do that.
No, it's not. It's not. It's few and far between when it does happen. It's happened, I think, maybe 2 or 3 times prior to Ipswich doing it. But you look at the way they play. They don't like to be aggressive in possession. They don't like to. There's lots of parts of their game that just doesn't fit or doesn't suit a team that are trying to get back-to-back promotions. They've changed the way they played from last season to this season. Now I feel if they would have stuck with what they did last year, they might have had a good chance of, building on that promotion success and possibly getting into the top half of the league. I don't think that will be the case, but I feel like if they're able to stay in this division, they'll be more than happy with that and give them something to build on.
Is now a good time to mention that in the last 9 lunchtime kickoffs, Leeds haven't got a win?
No.
Why does those things? Why do those things happen? Is that something that plays on players' mind, or they won't even thinking about it?
No, I don't feel like they'll be thinking about it. But especially not here as well. Look, it's not even sunny outside. It's a little bit darker. It feels like it's a little bit later on in the day. So I feel like it should work out pretty well.
It works. We're hoping won't be the case today. Leeds, of course, are 6 wins in a row here at Elland Road. So let's focus on the positives, looking to make it 7, even if it is a lunchtime kickoff, which we are getting ever closer. So very quickly, Bex, give us a score prediction for today. How's this going?
I fancy us to make the most of the opportunities that we're going to create, the ball that we have. We're going to frustrate them. I'm going to throw out a 3-0 Leeds United.
Okay, let's hope it's a repeat of that Luton result. Here come the players out the tunnel. Let's get to your commentary team up on the gantry. It's Bryn Law, and in for today, former Leeds United manager Simon Grayson.
Yeah, we're back in town, and Leeds United and Derby County are going to be putting on the latest championship show here at Elland Road. Another capacity crowd in the eye of the storm. Well, in Leeds terms, that means trying to get back to the top of the table. But from a climatic point of view and perspective, we have Storm Dara across the UK today. I think it's fair to say that West Yorkshire has escaped the worst of the weather, thus far at least. So whilst the wind is swirling and the rain is coming down, other parts of the UK have had it far, far worse. So conditions are difficult, but not too difficult currently. And Leeds United have to do all they can here in front of their own supporters to make sure they put another 3 points on the board. If they do that, they go back